Welcome to River Darling Art and ASMR, and today we are going to be, we're just going to low-key chill out and do some drawing. I've got my pencils here, obviously you can see what we're going to be working on today, and we're just going to chat and relax. So I'm just going to show you quickly where we are heading with this. So my plan is to just really have some fun, let loose, do a few little sort of, just really be expressive with our mark making. So not think about it too much, just do it. And this is what I've come across having a go on this before. So we're going to see what we do today, and I'm just going to leave him there for a little inspiration for me. Let's tuck that out the way. There we go, perfect. And I found my good pencil sharpener for once, which is very unusual. Right, okay, so let's make a start. I think first I'm going to just play a little bit with these feathers here. So I'm going to probably choose a medium brown like this one. And then I think we're just going to kind of work in some of these heavier points in each of the feathers. So I tend to find in cockerels or roosters that on this beautiful mane they have these almost like accentuations right at the very end of all these really thin and distinguished? I don't think that's quite the word I'm looking for, but they have these kind of punctuation marks right at the end, and I kind of want to bring that in. So, and I'm just going to go really loose with this. We're going to have a little fun, and if you are so inclined to play about with whatever your medium of choice is and have a little bit of fun with me, then please pause this video and grab what you need and let's give it a go. So one more thing I must say as we get into this video is I do have, and anyone who follows my channel will be aware that this is something that reoccurs, I do have a chick behind me sat on the back of my chair. She likes it there. I also have some ducklings and some chicks in the background. So if you do hear any beeping, please, no worries. I'm not burglaring anything. It's no alarms going off. It's just babies being noisy. And not to worry too much about them. So I think I might just try and block in some of these background colours a little bit. Oops, hair there. So I'm going to just maybe scribble in there a little bit and here. And we're just going to try and have a bit of fun with this. We're not going to worry too much. Famous last words of any artist, is I'm sure any of you who either are that way inclined or love or care about anyone that way inclined, you're probably well aware there is no such thing as I'm just not going to care about this one. But I'm going to put up a false facade and we're going to give it a go. And back to the beak again, I think. So cockerels kind of a little bit awkward. They've almost got like a fleshy bit that goes up the side of the beak there. Okay, I don't want to put too much light stuff there because I do want to come back and darken that quite a bit. You will see on this one here that I have gone over in more ink washes. So I've gone over with pencil and then washed in ink and then gone over in pencil again. And then the white marks you can see, I've used an acrylic marker. If you're on my Instagram, you'll know exactly what acrylic marker I use, but I'm not affiliated with any brands. I just have my favourites. We all do. So that's kind of, yeah, we're going to follow a very similar formula, but I'm hoping this guy's going to be a little bit different, and I really like his composition. So the two of these did start out as sketches for my much more, I'd say, serious way of inking things, where I build it up very slowly in like glazed layers. So I start really, really thin, and then I build up the amount of pigment in each layer, and I kind of bolster it that way. But with these guys, I wanted to they'd sat in my drawer. I'm not gonna lie here, they'd sat in my drawer for quite a while, where I don't think I had the passion to approach them, because they were such big pieces, and I love my commission work. I love creating for other people, and sometimes I think if I'm not creating for other people and I lose that initial, oh my god, I'm going to go do that spark, then it's really hard for me to pick it up again, I suppose. No one's waiting. It's just me, and you always think you've got all the time in the world, and you never get back round to projects if you don't run with that first instinct to do them. So I went to a garden. This is going to sound so British. I went to a garden with one of my friends, and I ended up taking pictures of all the flowers in the borders. And I was thinking at the time, I'd love to go home and look at these as reference and kind of bring in all these haphazard elements and build them really up like in a mixed media way, just layers and layers of mark making. And I'm not going to care, those famous last words, I'm not going to care. I'm just going to experience creating this piece. And when I got home, of course, in the cold light of day of your own home, not surrounded by probably hundreds and hundreds of pounds of shrubbery and expertly planted gardens, you sort of think like, oh crumbs, I don't quite know how to initiate this. So I looked into my drawer of my half-finished projects. So I can't be the only one with one of those. Oh, that's quite an angry, sort of like indignant mark. Oh, I don't know what's happening here. Listen, very... Oh, that he definitely sounds like that. I'd say I do like to scratch around the yard for some breakfast. I looked into my graveyard drawer and I thought, like, hey, these guys have been sat in here for ages. And I think probably what put me off was the composition that I did on that first one there. And then I walked away from that and I went, oh, actually, like, could it be centered a little bit more this way? So here it is, and I have, but they're not going to be what I expected them to be. And that's nice, because I think I've spoken about this on one of my other videos. I do have a couple of others I still need to edit, about worrying on the creative process and that need to perform. I think sometimes is that this one must be good. Like, I'm investing this time and I'm investing these materials, and everyone loves to share their work. And I think there's a huge amount of performance anxiety sometimes, especially if you feel like you're not reaching the audience that you'd like to reach to make yourself feel gratified. And I think sometimes removing some of that pressure by either taking an old work in progress that you haven't finished, or by using a piece that you've used on reclaimed material. So many years ago, I used to, I was a bit of a womble, so I would just collect things at the side of the road. So I would sort of collect old canvases that people had thrown away. I'm getting a bit too concise there, so I'm just going to loosen myself up again because I'm getting a bit too fiddly and I don't want to do that. And then I would just paint on them with acrylics. I would just go home, make a cup of tea and paint absolute nonsense on them. But that was very freeing because I was sort of convincing myself paint is free. But I was convincing myself this cost me nothing. all I've got to gain from this is experience, and that did remove a lot of the pressure I think I can sometimes feel when I think, oh no, I love using like Bristol board paper, and Bristol board paper is kind of, it's not super duper, but it's less than A4 printer paper. It's more, sorry. Gosh, that would be nice. So there's definitely a bit of a kind of, I can't just sketch on this because this piece of paper has a monetary value that I could probably divide quite chunkily up by the pack size. And no one needs that kind of stress, I think, when they're creating. I'm probably talking quite fast, but I feel like my brain sort of just activates. Do let me know. I hope that this is nice rambling and not, oh my goodness, will that lady please calm down? I just want to watch a scribbly cockerel. I don't want her talking at 50 miles an hour about dividing the cost of paper packets, because that's maybe not the most relaxing of topics. I apologise. I'm just going to soften up, I think, a bit and do some like shady blocks. So... I don't want this to be completely cross-hatched, because I think that can have quite a industrial, very masculine feel to it. And I think I would prefer to keep it a lot more. It's nice, I think, that it's that very structural mark making, but I would like to have some more organic, twisty, just organic twistiness. So these sort of impressions that I've done for the reeds here is mirrored in how I then went over with these white marks. Right, I'm going to switch up my colour now, and I think we are going to... Ooh, maybe we go for a little bit of dashing turquoise, and definitely use it just to define some of these a little bit, but don't make, oh, I can feel myself going, no, I'm just going to illustrate really nicely around it. Don't do that. You're going to be nasty. This is nasty pencil. Nasty pencil won't do as it's told. There's, oh, what's it doing there? What's it doing here? What's that? Why does that look like a little dancey man? I don't want dancey men. No, we don't want that. But we do maybe want to use it to make, yeah, there we go, the impression of feathers. I think this turquoise would probably be more like how the light shines on it and refracts. So I don't think this will be the dominant colour of any green tints in the old boy's bod. But it will probably be reflected in his little, did I call them spangly bits? Are they spangly bits? These bits, the spangly bits. I think they could reflect up into the spanglies. Do you make them spangly? Yeah. Yeah, I like that actually. That's a really nice contrast. I found myself completely unintentionally in my blue and yellow phase. This is my favourite colour. This is absolutely my favourite colour. It's my grandmother's favourite colour as well. So I think it's probably hereditary to a certain degree. But I just found I was constantly doing it, and what are we going to do? We're going to go... Yes. I'm going to tone it down a touch. Oh, we toned it down a touch, but we've actually brought out quite a vigorous green, which we're going to maybe use as a little like a flying buttress, a sort of a bolster to the general. There we go. I like. So I found myself, I normally, in my underpaintings, I'll normally use a yellow or an orange to almost sepia tone the underpainting in. And I just found myself continuously reaching for blue over the top of it. And normally they're colours they make me uncomfortable. Not my faves. And yet I found myself constantly doing it. Hang on, I'll show you one. So yes, you'll have to excuse, they will be a little bit shiny. But this chap, and then an eider duck. If you haven't noticed, I really love ducks. This chap, and was he a helmeted guinea bird, guinea fowl? But this little chap almost looks like he's been eating jam. So yeah, there's been a colour scheme that's kind of just inadvertently happened. Now I've mentioned that, you know, there's an absolute instinct to do that intentionally with this one, which is my plan, but look what I've just reached for goodness sake. I am not an easily influenced person. I challenged the very assumption. I'm just gonna pop these in here, and then maybe just creep that into some of the shadows just up here. There we go. I definitely feel nowadays there's quite a challenge to... It's difficult to enjoy your craft, I think, nowadays, because we're so aware of how digitized the world is, and it is important to get yourself out there online. But at the end of the day, this is still a craft that you've got to love it. You've got to love what you do, and you've got to be comfortable with how you do it and the reasons why you do it. And does it still serve you? Do you still feel good about it? Is it something that you're comfortable with as part of your identity? And I'm fortunate enough that I've got quite a few people in my friend group who do look at exploring coming outside of that dynamic, that very performative dynamic. I've gone, just an absolute train of thought, I've gone almost like, this is giving me Van Gogh vibes, and it likely shouldn't. However, it feels kind of wishy, and I'm here for it. I'm here for wishy blue. Wishy blue should... is that like a name of a terrible eco brand of washing up liquid? Wishy blue. Oh, I don't know. It's quite adorable. I know what? I want to line everything in blue now. This is welcome to... No, I mustn't go too hard, otherwise I will sort of go, what have I done? Now everything is blue, and how else will I make any kind of hierarchy? She says this, but she's continued to do it. How do you make hierarchy when everything's just lined in blue? Stop, pencil, stop. You're being absolutely bonkers. Why would you do this to yourself? Why would you just continue doing the thing that you've challenged yourself onto? Because, oh my goodness, it feels good. That's a big inhale. It's all sort of bleh, 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 bleh down here, but I feel like I can definitely put some washes in to kind of like give that a bit more depth, to give this a bit more, almost like a Gaussian blur. Gaussian blur? Just around the edge to kind of frame it a little bit more with more shadows. So I'm happy for that to become a bit more loose and abstract just there. But safe in the knowledge that that is my plan at a later date. Oh, Lord, I love that. Oh, just wish, wash, wash and squiggle. Yes. And okay, I probably shan't be going to bed too shortly because this is now too exciting. Oh, I do enjoy. Now we're not cross-hatching. This is something different. Oh yes. Have we gone too far? No. Shall reassert some of this just to put out. Oh man, that turquoise and this blue. Chef kiss. I must stop chef kissing. I found the people around me are now chef kissing as well, so I definitely chef kiss too much. But this is, yes. Yes. Eyebrows. Chicken eyebrows. I hope you're feeling rested while my speech just degrades into a pile of goo about chicken eyebrows and chef kissing. Do you reckon chefs do that? Chefs, please answer me. I would be curious. Do you chef kiss? Or is it like, oh no, we don't do that anymore? Or if it's just such a trope, you just... Do you chef kiss? Is it more ironic now you chef kiss? I would be very interested to know. That's probably going to puzzle me far more than it should now. Okay, right. I'm going to put this down because I have now lined everything. I'm going to go back to this very attractive colour. And I'm going to squiggles. So I don't know if you might have seen my terrible attempt at ASMR with my chicken Patches. He is not ginger, and I love ginger cockerels. There's something very traditional and farmhousey and just sort of unashamedly pretty. Poor old Patches is patchy. he's a very attractive cockerel, but he's patchy nonetheless, bless him. Right. I think this might be ready for an ink wash. Let me ponder this. I might go over it one more time round the face, and then I think it might be ink wash time. Going to go for a purpley colour, but I'm not going to bombard it too much, I don't think, and I've got to remember a little bit of hatching, because this has to be the strongest part, but also quite squiggly, because this is all flesh, and I seem to say that a lot in my videos, flesh, and it just needs to have a real soft, different texture to the rest of the feathering, just to break it up a little bit, give you a bit more texture and interest. And bring him down. I don't want to go too much on this one because this is his earlobe, and I want to see the ears just under this little hairy flap, so I don't want to... It's got a really different texture actually, the earlobe, and it's often sort of white and not like our earlobes. Maybe a little bit more orange on the old beak and schnoz. There we go. Oh, my chicken is fast asleep. Bless her. I don't think I've kept my chair particularly still while I've been working, so she's been very tolerant. I'm going to put some big, bold mark making. Did I say I was about to ink next? I don't know. Maybe I did. I'm going to put them just on the left-hand side, because they're fun. Yeah, I've got to see if I can kind of make them bigger for down here. Just... Okay, so I think he might be due an ink wash now, and I think that's probably where I'm going to get up to a pencil. Am I lying again? I might be lying again, sorry. Oh no, I've succumbed to the really pretty teal colour. We're just going to put a little bit more detailing in the back, because I might wash this again. And if I put in some light tones now, then they won't get lost, because these, I might be mistaken, but they behave like they are. These are wax-based pencils. Well, they're oil-based pencils. I might be talking absolute nonsense. I'm going to have to check afterwards now, but they repel the water slightly, so when I ink wash over it, it does that lovely waxy thing where it runs off it and it makes that colour nice and bright underneath. And for that very reason, I may go over in pink, but I'm going to do I'm going to sharpen quickly. Hang on. Okay, so shush, 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 out the way. What do flowers look like? They look like Plum Plum. Nice, okay. You know what flowers look like, right? They look like that. There you go. I've done a very similar thing to these grassy effects, which I kind of wanted to feel a bit like wheat. So just put some of these, yes, around there. So now I think we are ready to do some ink washing. And I believe, what am I talking about? We will be doing that next time. So thank you so much for spending this time with me. I hope you've enjoyed this. Why would I lay that on top of that? That would be silly. There we go. I shall give you a little friendly wiggle. And thank you so much for spending this time with me. I hope you found it relaxing or just comforting. I hope that I've brought you some companionship today. Get out there. Go play with your favourite medium. Go have fun. And let's see if I can absolutely muck this up next time. Wishing you well. Take care. Bye.